long were you locked up?
18 years, bro. Just got out last week.
Glad to have you back out, huh?
I know I've been away a long time, but I kept myself in shape. I still got gas in the tank.
Come by the gym.
Thank you.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. We said we're going to give you guys a live on Creed 3, talking obviously about the film and giving you guys an opportunity also to give your say-so on this film. Creed 3. I want to know your opinions. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you guys thought about the film. Because I told you, listen, I thought this film was good. It could have been great. I said it was good. It could have been great. We're going to discuss that as well and going forward. All right. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor. Like it, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. And for those of you who are returnees, we know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. All right, cool. I'm going to put a link in the chat for you guys. It means you guys can actually enter the conversation and the fray. Okay, you can join the convo and have your say. Last time we had this was on for 4 hours. We'll move it to that today because obviously we've got another live a little bit later on as well. But yes, let me say, it's a madness out here. Let's get these points across. All right, cool. So my personal opinion, I think I put this on the other review. I was saying that this film was good. It could have been great. This film was good. It could have been great. That's what I said. I said it could have been great. And the reason why I said it could have been great is I felt like there were components of this film kind of missing. And I said it's very similar to watching Black Panther 2. Had the capacity to be an awesome film, but it lacked a little bit of some extras that I needed to see in it as well. But yeah, no, this is still a good film, and this is a great debut for Michael B. Jordan. It's his first, directorial role, and I'm not even mad at it. I think it was great for his first directorial role. It was well shot. The components of the shots were great. The edits were great. The fight scenes were amazing. Okay, amazing. And everything like that. But again, yeah, there were just some maybe things more to do with the storyline that I wish would have been done to really go in depth and explore some things. Yes, I think it was good, but it felt rushed. I think that's a good word, Nikki B. I think it's a good word. It was good, but it did feel rushed. It felt like we got to the end real quick. Like I said, I watched it maybe back to front a little bit, and that's probably why I felt that way as well. But yeah, it was. I felt it was a bit rushed. But let me get Arini. How you doing, Arini?
I'm good. Ariadne, by the way.
Ariane, sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Apologies. I will get it. I had it last time. I had it right last time. Sorry, my bad. Ariane, what's your thoughts?
I definitely felt like a different tone to, like, it felt different than the first two. I will say that. There were two things that I felt were not that great because I felt like they should have brought it up sooner, and I'll get into it later. But I mean, overall, I liked it a lot. But yeah.
Okay. I think we both agree. I think most people will. Overall, it's a good film. It is a good, solid film. And I don't know why I'm being so harsh on it because I feel like why I'm not giving. I guess maybe because we had Creed 1 and 2. Maybe that's why as well. And it's hard to distinguish that from Michael B. Jordan because he was actually in the film as well. I know it's his director role on Creed 3, but he was in Creed 1 and 2. So I'm kind of measuring it also in the back of my mind with those films. Whereas when Black Panther came out as one film standalone, that first film is not the greatest, but it's great because of what it does, its history and everything like that. But Creed 3 was good. I just feel like it could have been awesome. I think it had the component. I think that's why I'm sad about it.
Yeah, I get that. Definitely get that because I mean it just goes back to Black Panther because it's like it was really good for what it was, like you said, for everyone it was catering to, I guess you could say. I don't know if catering to is the right phrase for it.
You can say catering to. Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, I guess I feel like with Wakanda Forever, it's like there were some things that were different about it that I didn't really necessarily like, but it was like, so it's kind of like the same thing here. It's just it felt like a tonal shift. And that could have just been because of, Chadwick dying and all that. But I mean, in this case, it was because, Michael B. Jordan was directing. So
Directed.
it had, it had a very different tonal shift to it. But I mean,
yeah, I'm with you. Amber, welcome to the conversation. Talking about obviously Creed 3. What's your thoughts on this film?
I felt Creed 3 was good. I feel like it could have been a bit better if it was a bit more fleshed out. When I saw the timing before I even went to see the movie, I noticed it was about 15 to 20 minutes shorter than the first two Creeds had been. And I thought that would be a good thing. But looking at it now, I think that extra 10 to 15 minutes would have actually been that little bit of extra fleshing out that the film needed to be that full 10 out of 10 that it had the potential to be.
So for you then, okay, so timing wasn't one thing. What just give me one thing that you thought maybe could have been fleshed out a bit more, because you said that.
Well, one thing, and this would be a bit of an unpopular opinion, when they brought up the Leon character, now I want to preface this by saying physical abuse is never good. Let's make that very much clear. But the way they brought up the Leon character, I thought that what it turned out that he had did was something a bit more gruesome than what was revealed. And it threw me, and I'm like, I'm not saying physical abuse is not bad, but I thought he was like, had did something that would make me like be praying on my knees. And when they said he abused us, I'm like, okay, that's terrible. I thought it was going to be a little bit worse than that, the way y'all described it. And it kind of threw me. I'm like, okay. I'll take it. We're not going I didn't want to come across mean. I'm like, okay, that might be mean, but I thought it was going to be worse than that. Like, they described it as like the big bad. I was like, what is going on?
And I think the reason, again, I'm going to come on to your point. I think the reason, again, which comes back to my original point about this film, was because it's not shown. So it's like you get parts of a montage where he's punching a mattress. We don't really see what it is. He's punching a mattress, and it's like, okay, is he punching them? The kids are kind of screaming. Okay, but what's actually really happening? So there's not enough imagery to make you go, oh, this guy was just abusing them, and it's terrible. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like you said, it's like, yeah, I know it's DV, but it's like, yeah, but was it? And then, so as an audience member, you're left to question, was it really that bad? I mean, was it that bad that you wanted to beat his ass outside of the shop? Like, you know what I mean? That's what I was saying. Ariane, go for it. You wanted to add?
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to like how Damien was even brought into it, because like this is our first time hearing about him. So I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Jonathan Majors did his acting job because he did amazing. It's just that, I mean, I wish we would have shown him a lot earlier. I mean, I would even taken for like the last few minutes of Creed 2 for having heard about him, because it's like we're supposed to think that things from our childhood come back up in adulthood, because obviously it does for a lot of people. It's just like, this is the first time we're hearing about it, though. I mean, we kind of heard about how he was bounced around in foster homes a lot when he was a kid in the first one, but then we never heard about Dame ever. So in the first one, as far as I remember. So yeah, like, so we're supposed to believe that Dame is the one that held him down and had his back, supposedly, like from the ages of like whenever his mom died and he went into foster care and all that, and then to like ages 14, 15, whenever that was, whenever Dame went to prison. So it's like, that's one of my kind of issues that I thought about when we were kind of talking about it on Discord earlier. So it's just like, okay.
And to her point, crazy enough, the fact that we never heard of Damien, it made it so that it made me dislike Creed's character just a little bit. Because it's like, so wait a minute, he pulls out a gun to save you because you beating somebody's tail outside the store. Of course, he's a young black man. He has some priors, so they give him some crazy sentence, and you don't put nothing on his books. You don't come to see him. We've never heard him mentioned before. You haven't had no nightmares, reliving the night, nothing. And it made me root for Damien, almost like a good Disney movie. Like I started to root for the villain. I'm like, you're tripping, Dame, but Creed is a little dirty for that. I don't like that.
And I think that's where a little bit more time spent on storyline would have helped us understand a bit more, right? So the first maybe 15, 20 minutes should have been dedicated to his childhood then. You know, so you set up the premise of the story. So we get 15, 20 minutes of, little Michael B. Jordan, or flashbacks, 15, 20 minutes or so of Michael B. Jordan and Damon kind of, fleshing out that character a bit more. We get to see more of the abuse that he suffered at the hands of it, because I really need to root for this situation to happen. But like you said, I didn't really see the abuse too tough. So I'm like, whoa, it wasn't really that bad. But it would have been good to have set up, 15, 20 minutes, have the young men in the home, them trying to, them little scenarios of them having to fight and get out of situations, seeing Damon really have Creed's back. You know what I'm saying? Like really having his back. Then going into the boxing that we saw with them two and everything like that. That was good. It was nice. It was just, it's almost as if, you give me a taster of your dessert and then you go, let me take the plate away though, because just as you took a bite, I'm going to take the rest of the plate away. And it's like, you gave us a little bit, but it could have been more. So we wanted to, I think you kind of said it, we want to be able to root for people, or we want to be against people. Like that's the strong emotions we want to feel, but it kind of left us a little bit in limbo. And it felt like they made this big old Leon situation. You beat his ass because he beat you. I don't think anyone's going to feel bad. You beat his ass. Yeah. I mean, you beat his ass after he beat you up. Like you know what I mean? You have to give us something to, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I just felt like it maybe didn't have that crescendo build up a little bit as well.
Definitely.
Someone said here the training montage was a little bit lackluster. It didn't get the people going. How did you guys feel about the training montage that he had?
I'll let her go first. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it kind of felt like a little bit like Creed 2, I think, because didn't he go back to that place that he went to, like what's it? I'm blanking on his name. Sylvester Stallone's character from Rocky. It kind of felt like that, but I mean, without Rocky, it felt like a fat-free cookie that you just don't like because it's fat-free. So it's like, I mean,
for me, the montage, it was okay. The Creed 2 montage is still my favorite, and I think it was my favorite because the stakes were higher. I mean, he had almost got killed in the ring, just like his father, and then he had to go back and fight again. So, like, it's those high stakes. This one, I didn't really feel the stakes were high. Wood Harris, who played Little Duke, he's an amazing actor, but I feel like him kind of trying to fill that spot of Rocky in the montage. You kind of felt that void just a little bit. I'm bad at names, so just a little bit to the young lady's point. It felt a little hollow in that spot. It was okay. Creed 2 is still my favorite montage. Them going out to the desert. Him collapsing, all that good stuff. The plane part was nice, but that's a little unrealistic. Like, you pulling a plane.
I thought the same thing. I was like, are we pulling planes out here? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Stop, please.
Like, you're going to break your whole back. What is you doing?
Yeah. Before we even fight.
Exactly.
I thought the training montage was okay. I guess, do you know what it was? Like I said, I watched it back to front. So I keep saying that because when I came in the room, at the point of the film, Damien had just fought Chavez, I think, the first time I watched it. Or something like that. I think when I watched it, Damien had just fought Chavez when I came in the first time when I watched it. And then before I knew it, we were at the training montage. Because there was not much time between Damien beating up Chavez and provocating Michael B. Jordan's character. There wasn't much happening. I mean, bro, We had Stephen A. Smith say one line about, oh, well, he's been talking about you all the time when he's on the press. Why didn't you show me that? Because I need to start feeling like this Damien character is a prick. I need to start feeling like, you know what, this is your boy, but he really trying to mess you up. He's every time questioning your masculinity. Why didn't you show us that? He's every time talking about your family. Why didn't you show us that? Show us this. Only got one scene of him calling in live into a show with Stephen A. Smith, talking about, you know, you're a punk, you're this or that. And that was the only scene. So it's like, again, I don't get much instances where I can begin to really dislike Damien's character, or at least flesh out some ideas about how I really feel about his character, whether I'm going to like him, or maybe dislike him because he's a bit of an anti-hero. Who knows? But it was less of that. So then by the time we get to training montage, I'll be honest with you, the film was flat for me at that point. At that point, it's flat because it's like, what are we fighting for? What are we really doing this for? What is your motivation out here? Because Damien's not going to stop. Stop what? He's won the belts. You've gone home. You've finished and retired. Your legacy's safe. You don't have anything to fight for. So for me, it was like, what was he actually going to fight him for? What? He's coming for everything. What is everything? Please tell me what everything is. Again, it wasn't fleshed out. What is everything? Unless he's coming for your wife, which he didn't, because he didn't show us that. He's not coming for your mum and your dad. Unfortunately, dad's passed. Your mum's passing. So that's not it. You're not coming for your kids. Okay, so you ain't them for that. The belts, you're not even holding the belts no more. Chavez is. Like, what was he coming for? Again, it didn't make sense. What was he coming for? Damien's not going to stop. Stop what? He's won. You know, go for it, Amber.
No, I agree with you. It's just I felt like they didn't know whether they wanted to make Damien the big bad or whether they wanted to make him, like you said, the anti-hero, sympathetic. When he was talking to Bianca, I kept wondering, I'm like, is he trying to holler at Bianca? But they never fleshed it out. And I'm like, see, if y'all flesh that out, I could understand Creed wanting to get in the ring and, you know, tear that tail up because you coming at my wife. But that was never that way. I'm just like, I feel like the acting saved the movie. I feel like the acting saved the movie because the plot was very thin.
Ari, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, because it's like there's like two other things like that really kind of didn't make sense, and it was like both had to do with Marianne. First and foremost, I did this like the Creed movies were the first ones that I kind of started with. I mean, I think I may have seen like Rocky here and there, kind of, but I didn't really sit down and watch those. So all of a sudden, she got two other kids. I'm like, if people who are like me, who never watched the other ones, who didn't know that while she was married to Apollo, had two other kids, like you would think that my face went like, huh? Like what? Where did these two kids come from? Like all of a sudden, like could you have at least kind of mention them? I mean, you don't have to necessarily show them, but could you at least mention them or something? And then her health, obviously, too. It's like suddenly she had a stroke, never heard anything about it until the beginning of the movie, and then it's like all of a sudden she has another stroke. Which I mean, I'm sure happens. Like sudden strokes happen, but I mean, I don't know. It just seemed out. I mean, kind of. I mean, I get it was supposed to force Adonis to be like, hey, I'm sorry, I blew up at you and all that, but it still felt kind of out of left field. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No, I definitely agree. I always thought that the reason why Creed and Marianne were so close was maybe she couldn't bear children. That's what led her to like go get him in the first one and bring him into her house and everything. So when I heard about the two kids, I said, okay, that must be something from the Rocky joint. Okay. I'm like, we've never heard them mentioned. We've never even seen like a picture of anybody else in the house other than Creed, like a school picture or a graduation picture or something like that. I said, okay, I'm gonna let that go. I haven't really watched the Rocky. You know, I've watched the Creed movies. It was stuff. Even the daughter being deaf, which I actually love that part because the young lady that played her
that was beautiful.
An amazing actress. She stole the movie, in my opinion. In the second one, it was because what threw me was like, okay, Bianca has hearing loss, but she's not deaf yet. So it was like, why did they choose to make the daughter fully deaf already and the daughter's young? But I'm like, okay, you know, maybe that's I didn't know, like, I didn't want to question it per se, because I'm like, well, I don't know much about that community, so it's not for me to question how that works, you know, with genetics and things of that nature. But I was expecting her to maybe have a hearing loss issue versus her being completely deaf. So
I
there were
didn't
really
think about that. So
I
yeah,
think everything.
no, I didn't think about that, because it's like, I mean, it was nice seeing, you
Oh,
know, seeing that sort of kind of community shown. So, because I mean, the only other place I've seen it was on a TV show, and that was it, and that was like that ended like years ago. So it was nice seeing that sort of community again. So, but yeah, I really didn't think about that.
It was very nice watching that as well. I definitely, that's a good point. I loved seeing the fact that they would also sign. You know, I had no clue they were telling the truth or not, but listen, hey, you know, I'm sure they were accurate. But I loved how they were going about it. You know what I mean? That there was several points in the movie, and that's what I'm trying to say about in the drip feeding. Throughout the film, we can say that's consistent. Wherever we went and the daughter was, there was consistent sign language, right? Even when Damien comes in the house, they're teaching Damien how to even sign, you know, things like that. So it made you really aware of maybe the daughter not being able to hear, right? It made you very super aware that, okay, look, she can't hear at this moment, so you know, they're having to communicate in a different way. Loved it. I thought that was brilliant. And I think someone else might have said it the other live that we did, which is, you know, talking about the daughter, talking about the daughter, she had her own little story going on. And I felt like we abandoned it halfway through. You know, I felt like we gave her a little bit of she got anger issues. All right, give me a little sign. Like, what we do with it? You know, she just punched the kid out, and then they went to school, and he's having an argument with her about whether they should fight or not. And then we know that, you know, he's secretly going to teach her boxing. But how does that end? How does that resolve? You know, we need a soft resolve. It doesn't need to be a hard one. It needs to be a soft resolve. But I felt like we didn't resolve that. So again, it's like we saw her in the ring at the end. Of course, we know she's going to become a boxer. I'm sure maybe in Creed 4, she might start her boxing career. Who knows? But it's like, give me a little bit of something. You know, don't leave us spare with that story a little bit. And I felt like that was a little bit untold, maybe. But then, you know, some people might have liked it in that particular way. But for me, I felt like it was untold in a sense as well. You know, any thoughts on the daughter's arc and what it was?
She got hands.
She sure does. Sure does.
I was not ready for that punch. That punch made everybody jump. It was 3 of us that went when I went to it. But she punched that girl. I'm like, you know what? You have to the picture of her daddy. I know I don't condone violence, but I can't say I feel sorry for you.
I mean, the wrong one. She doesn't play about her daddy, that's for sure. So, I mean, because I don't play about my dad, so I get it. I mean, I don't know if I do the same thing, but I may be thinking about it, because, like, what you're not about to do is play with my daddy. So, that's all I can say.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, I definitely agree that, you know, and I think also in regards to the film, I think with Creed as well, I think there was some good bits as well. I liked how, again, the fight scenes were delivered. I like how the actual shooting and the editing of it. I love the way they describe the fight scenes with the imagery. Again, I said last time, I wish there was more. It felt a little bit empty, the film. It's almost as if you gave me a Creed to focus on the story plot of people's lives, but then I didn't even get the story plot of people's lives. So then I feel like you gave me a chicken burger with a little bit of chicken in it. It's like it's got a lot of water in it. It's got 40% chicken, 60% water. It's like you gave me something, but you didn't give me all of it. Like, do you know what I mean? So I just felt like it was a little bit empty. You know, if we're going to be doing only 2 fight scenes, let's really make sure we're nailing down the storylines of people, you know, so that it builds up to these fights and they become more momentous. Because even the Chavez and Damien fight, I know obviously they had a little bit of that build up where he was in the gym and, you know, he was doing what he was doing. But again, when out of the thing. Oh, still, it's like, how does a boy go? It just suddenly, all of a sudden, now he becomes a fighter. Oh, it was just too much. It was too unrealistic. Almost, it felt like there was no. So no one's gonna push back. No one's gonna say, "But this guy can't come out of nowhere." No one's gonna say there's not gonna be other people who want to be contenders, want to fight, who want to take a chance on a title belt. But you're gonna put your boy in there straight. No one's saying anything. Sponsors, nobody.
But not even that, he elbowed him. Like the referee was terrible, and I'm like, they disqualified the dude for hitting Creed. When the ref told him stop in the second one, how was Damien elbowing people in the face and not getting no referee calls on it?
Your sound is going. It's might be the AirPods. Might be the AirPods. Sometimes AirPods be doing that. Sorry.
Be better now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll repeat what I said. The referee, his calls were really bad also in that fight. Like Damien elbowed Chavez in the face at one point. And I'm like, how was there no disqualification or anything like that? I'm like, did they pay off the ref or something like that? If they had said that, that would have made a bit more sense. It just wasn't fleshed out. Plus, Little Duke did not like Damien. I don't understand what that was about. I kept waiting to see if there was like a confrontation they had when Damien was younger. Since they showed Little Duke like underground when Damien was fighting the underground fights. Yeah, it wasn't fleshed out. It needed more an extra 15 minutes would have did it justice.
I hear that. Harry, what are you saying?
I mean, it's funny that you brought up the fight scenes because I thought the one between Dame and Adonis was actually when it kind of like faded everyone out, I thought I liked that part. So maybe, I don't know, it's kind of hard to remember everything about that fight scene right now because I only saw it the one time and I saw it 2 days ago. So but yeah, I mean, I do remember that part, and I liked how it faded. It faded everyone out. It was just them two. Then all of a sudden, it brushes back everyone in, and then it's like next thing you know, it's
12th round almost. Isn't it?
Yeah. So I thought that was probably my favorite part, but personally, but I mean,
the fight scene was a little quick for me. I wish it had been a little bit longer.
Tell you that for sure.
Because like in the other Creeds, they normally show us at least about, I want to say 5 or 6 rounds, and then they'll do like the speed up things, like the last 2 rounds or whatever. I feel like this one we got maybe 2 or 3, 4 rounds. Then it went into the anime stuff with the fade out, which I did like. But then next thing you know, round 12, I'm like, huh? I'm like, I know this fight ain't over yet. Wait a minute. Like this fight is we wait for the whole movie. What is going on?
And no, I think that's the key point that you made there. That's the fight we've been waiting for all movie, and you robbed me again. You robbed me of the opportunity of being again invested in this part of the film, the movie, the part that's meant to sell it. That's why I said when I watched it back to front, I was thinking that this must be the beginning of the film, because how could it be so quick? That because I watched it towards the end, so I'm thinking to myself, he's busting him up like, maybe they're gonna have a rematch. Maybe his boy's gonna come like, nah, we need a rematch. You beat me unfairly, blah, blah, blah. I said, how, Sway? You mean you gave me 2 rounds and then you went into anime and then you were in the final championship round and also as well, this is just maybe a more editorial piece, right? I don't like the fact that his punch that ended Damien didn't look as good as the one that Damien gave. Because Damien's punch was serious, blood. The thing was like, shoo, and I said, oh, Lord Jesus. This must be the end of the fight. I thought there was going to be a rematch. I thought that was it. I thought the bell's going to go. It's the end of the fight. It's done. They're going to have a rematch after, and he's going to have to come back again. But no. Alas, he rose up and then punched him in the face, square in the face. I said, oh. I mean, I know what he meant because obviously it's about timing and focus. That's what he's always said. But again, it just, you say, it's almost like watching, when you watched a dance film, and the bad dance team have a better dance than the main winners. And it's like, bro, I know you didn't give it to win. That's how it felt like. You gave the wickedest punch to Damien and gave Creed like this weak punch. It's like, nah, come on, guys. Give me a little something, how he ended it. And it just, again, it didn't give me that feel of, oh my god, he's coming back from the dead and he's won. It didn't give me that feeling. I'll be honest with you. I didn't feel that per se. It was quite an evenly placed fight. But that punch that he gave Creed, that should have had the bell ringing. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I will say the way I liked Michael's directing more than his acting in this movie. And this is just my opinion. I feel like Creed 2 was more of his stronger acting. And I think that's because of the plot. The plot gave him more to work with. I did like the directing, the way they introduced adult Damien, just showing, his outfit and showing him from behind and not showing his face until Creed comes out. I said, oh, y'all being sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
I said, y'all playing with us. I like that. That keeps me paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was like I said, I think Jonathan and I think definitely Baby Girl that played the daughter, in my opinion, they stole the movie. They didn't give Bianca in this movie. They kind of let her settle in the housewife position.
Yeah.
Which I get it. They didn't give her a bunch. She got her check. So as long as you get your coins, I'm good with it. Tell us to get your money. Yeah, it was good. The fight scenes should have gave more for me. I feel like something about Creed 2. I don't know. People say they don't like Creed 2. I love Creed 2.
Creed 2 is
so they on something.
Creed 2 is Drago, right?
Yeah, that's Drago.
Yeah.
I love Creed 2.
Yeah, that's why. Because again, Drago's character was fleshed out. We saw him from the very beginning with his father, how his father was from original Rocky, and how the mum was wicked and the dad was it.
Yes.
We saw a lot of stuff of his storyline that never got flushed out with Damien, but Drago got all of that.
Yes. I felt bad for Drago. I was like, ooh, I hate his
baby. I said, let that boy win.
I'm like, his mama nasty. Let him win.
Oh man. Oh.
Yeah, I wish they had fleshed it out. I feel like they kind of hyped it up and it wasn't what they hyped it up to be. And I remember when I was going, I told my mom, like, I hope this is as good as they hyped it up to be. Because movies that get hyped up like that, sometimes they have a tendency to not be what the hype was. And then you walk away and you're like, you got to start saying, 7.5 out of 10 and 8 out of 10. And it's like, y'all trailer was fire. What?
Listen, I've been seeing the reviews for Creed 3 and they are raving and storming about it. And I guess part of me is like, but when it came to, and I'm just making when it came to Wakanda number 2, the way that the critics came out, they came and lambasted that film. And you know what? Rightly so. But the way they are bigging up Creed 3, I would think to myself, this was a masterpiece. And honestly, I love Michael B. Jordan. I want to see him continue to direct stuff. I don't want to see him not. I want to continue. But this was not a masterpiece. The more we're talking about it, the more it makes me feel like this really wasn't that great. I'm just going to be honest with you. It wasn't that great just because there's so many missing components in this film. Like you just mentioned Creed 2, and it then got me thinking about Drago. The reason why Drago's character, again, even though he's a bad guy, you still have some empathy towards the end because there's another bad person. There's a red herring. It's the mum. The mum is a problem. The mum is the biggest problem. And then it makes you switch your allegiance at the end, like, damn, you're getting bust up now. I kind of want to see him win. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you leave the fear of feeling like, I want to see Drago win. So now when you see him in Creed 3, you're kind of even happy seeing him, like, my guy Drago, yeah, he here. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of want to see him win because they fleshed him out appropriately. Now it's like, Damien, you didn't, and you lot are right. If it had not been for Michael B. Jordan and more so Jonathan Mayers, honestly, Jonathan Mayers' acting is like 20 out of 10. I swear to God. Like his acting is brilliant. I don't know what he does with the lip pouting. It's working. I don't know if it's his natural lip thing, but it just be making me think, what is this guy thinking? He's thinking some serious. You know what I mean? I don't know how you guys felt about his performance, but yeah. I
kept getting distracted because of him a little bit because he kept doing the lip pouting thing, and I was like, I'm gonna need you to stop, Jonathan, please. You distracted me with your lips here. So I'm like, I was anyways, but yeah. So because I mean, yeah, because he brought it. Like he brought I loved him in Lovecraft Country too. So it's like he did amazing Yeah, I want to go find other stuff that he's been in. I actually have
Yes.
a movie on Paramount Plus that I need to watch that he's in that just came out. So it's like I need to like look up more of his stuff because he's really just on fire at the moment. So
yeah, Jonathan Majors, his acting is always phenomenal. I've not seen Lovecraft Country. I have seen The Harder They Fall. With him and
Yes, I saw that
Idris,
one.
that was
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
I have seen Devotion, which was really good. You know, I think that's the one you're talking about on Paramount Plus, where the Devotion one with him and the playing the guy in the Air Force or Navy. Yeah.
that's what I meant.
I even went and watched Loki, and I'm not the biggest member of the Marvel universe, but I even went and watched Loki because I heard he was in it. So I'm a big
Isn't it? Yeah.
supporter of Jonathan Majors. He always does his thing, and I feel like he did his thing here because he brought the emotion that we needed. I feel like Michael, you know, his character brought the father thing. He brought a little bit of the anger, but I feel like Jonathan brought the vulnerability in this movie that was needed for it to still stay above ground, even though, as we said, the plot was a bit thin. You know, as every time he said something, you were looking at him like, what does that mean? Because at first he was being so nice and it threw me. I'm like, okay, he's being real nice. I'm like, what is going on? And it's like he was being nice, but you could feel in the air there was unresolved issues. And it's like, when is the other shoe going to drop? The other shoe has to drop because he was sign languaging with the daughter, you know, like the fun uncle. And I'm just like, nah, something with this situation is off. What is it? What? But I feel like Michael did his thing. I I pray they bring him back for Creed 4 in some way. Maybe they didn't flesh everything out. I'm hoping maybe they didn't flesh everything out because they're gonna bring it up in the next one in some way. If so, I may take back what I'm saying right now. Just like, okay, y'all had a plan. It makes all this make a bit more sense. You know, if not, it's just, you know, I mean, you live and you learn. This is Michael's first directing, so you live and you learn. But I feel like Jonathan definitely killed it. He brought the emotion that we needed. You know, at the end, I was just kind of like, dang, Michael, like you can't hook up. Well, I'll say this: Damien is
That's
kind
true.
of set, in my opinion, because I was even telling my mother, like, he's been the heavyweight now. He's fought against Creed, which is considered one of the greatest in the game. He'll still get boxing matches purely from his name and notoriety alone. So he's basically set for life in a way now until he wants to retire. But it still felt kind of like, Michael, you act like you're giving him deuces again. What is going on here? Let me know if you need me. What?
After he's coming for all.
Exactly. What?
I definitely hear what you're saying, and I agree. I think Jonathan Mayer's literally brought everything to the table in this role. I loved even when the way he entered the ring was just like it's just something about it. Just you could tell that, you know, this person is in role. Like, it's not Jonathan Mayers anymore. It's Damien. You know, even at the beach scene too. The flip now, where he's gone from, you know, like you said, you don't know where, you know, beforehand, now we've seen this kind of darker kind of aspect to him. Do you know what I mean? I love that. You know, even the accent change, a slight change when he's talking to him, you know, at the beach is slightly different than when he talked to him before. And then when, like you were saying, I think one of the parts that I really noticed his character was when he first meets Creed,
Amara.
when they go to the bar to eat food, you can feel tension because some of his lines, when he says some of his lines, he's like, yeah, I'm good, bro. And then he will say something and it had this kind of twinge to it. And you're like, oh, he's going to say, like, you know what I mean? He's going to say something. I feel like he's going to say something, bro. You saw it with the Amara on the top of the roof where they're talking and he's saying some stuff and you can feel like he's going somewhere he shouldn't be going with the conversation. And Michael B. Jordan telling Amara to go away. It's like he brought some tension to the screen that you're never really sure where you are with him. You know, I felt like I was fighting him because at one point I'm just like, when you gonna come, bro? When you go and drop this bar on him and let me know, like, and that was really powerful. I think as an audience member watching it, that I always felt like I was on edge with him and I never knew what I was going to get with him. And I think they should continue that. I think his character should continue that whole, he's never good, but he's never fully bad. You just never know what you're going to get with him. He's going to always be a little bit on edge with you. and you know what, try me, and you could see the different side of him. I think that would be there's something about that, you know, that you're always thinking, is he going to turn? And I think that could also be added to the series as well. But you know, I don't know. I think, yeah, it was definitely an inspired performance. I can definitely say that as well. You know,
Definitely.
Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts that come into mind?
I don't like that they killed the mother. I'm tired of them killing the mamas.
Yes, please. I would like. That's kind of why I think I had like it's such an issue with the medical history, because I was like, what? I mean, if you're gonna at least kill her off, like, please set it up in the first movie, please. At the very least, do that, because otherwise, save it. I don't like it. I mean, because they did that with Wakanda Forever, and it just annoyed the ever loving patience out of me. So it's just like, and of course they do it here. I'm like, is this your go-to? It's like, can you stop, please, at this point?
Everyone's go-to. Could the film have done without the mother not being dead? Could the film done without that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of a cop-out. Like, it was a way of her not having to take accountability for keeping the letters from Damien and trying to keep them separate. Like, if we make her die and make her sympathetic, she doesn't have to address the fact that she's a little bit of a reason that this conflict is in place. Because now, of course, Creed is grown, but you know, he didn't find the letters, so he might be like, oh, maybe he don't want to talk to me because he mad at me. It could have been anything going through his mind about the situation. I felt like it was a cop-out for her not to have to take accountability or give a reason for why she kept the letters.
Ari?
No, she took everything out of my mouth. I mean, it's because I mean, it I don't want to say gaslighting. I don't want to say that word, but it felt very much like that. That she was like, yeah, because she was like trying to make him like feel bad for not having, you know, contacted him or I don't know, like it just felt very much like she was trying to spin it and like there. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it felt weird. So
sympathy.
Yeah, I think again, I think you're absolutely right. It was a cop out to have the mother pass away, and one of the reasons, like he stated, was because you know, she doesn't get to answer for her crimes, but two, also because as well, I think it's a cop out because also it forces the conversation between Michael B. Jordan and Amara, and I felt like, listen, don't get it twisted. Of course, death does bring people to that point, but like you've used it as a catalyst, as a rather cheap way, rather than like kind of like, you know, fleshing it out and in scenes and showing us how they end up at this resolve where he now starts talking about feelings. You know what I mean? So it was like that's for me why I didn't like her death in that sense. I was like, yeah, it feels a little bit coppish. It's like you want me to cry at this moment. I didn't even cry, and usually I do cry. I don't go to usually I cry at things. I cry at Ant-Man. So listen, you can get me easy. But I just felt a little bit annoyed at that scene. I was like, yeah, because you're trying to force me to cry in this moment. You want me to feel some emotions, and I don't like being forced to feel emotions. It's like, bro, at this point, you know, I wanted to have seen, you know, a conversation with his mom. I would have loved to see more of a fleshed out argument, maybe even with his mom. Maybe another scene later on, you know, them talking about the situation, blah, blah. Because it didn't make sense also because he goes to the beach to talk to Damien. Damien says, I wrote to you every day. And you don't tell your boy that your mom hid all the letters from you? You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to get angry when he cusses you out, walk away, cusses you out, and then you're going to come back, he punches you. It was like, what's going on? What's really going on, Michael B? What's really going on? Because why did you go to the beach in the first place? If you know you're wrong and you didn't know there was letters coming, why did you go to the beach as if you're going to have a fight? Because the first thing you do is you deck a man. So you didn't go there do you know what I mean? Like, it's confusing for me because you went there knowing that now the letters, you were in the wrong. This should change your posture. But she went in there not to goon out, wanted to call him out like as if you're gonna have a fight with him. And I still don't know why he wanted to fight him that way, because really and truly we didn't get to see much of what the provocation was, really and truly, other than him knocking out his fighter. But yeah, go for it.
Well, and I had to, because I didn't understand what was going on with that either. My mother had to break it down to me. When Creed found the letters from that the mother had hidden, there was also a picture of Damien in prison with the same guy that had punched the fighter that was originally supposed to fight Felix or whatever.
Yeah.
So Damien basically set up him fighting for heavyweight world champion, which once that information got out, unless Creed didn't want to turn that information in, they probably could have revoked his belt or something like that, because that would have been deemed like illegal practices. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not even sure why that wasn't touched on more. Once again, like you said, not fleshed out enough. But yeah, it's just like the thing of like he punched him, and I'm like, so Creed, you deck one of his entourage, but then when he punches you, you don't hit him back. I'm very confused in this situation. I'm like, you got all this smoke for everybody else, but you have no smoke for him. I'm like, plus he had like he drunk a little bit, so you probably can get a better hit on him right now because he got a little bit of liquid courage in him. I'm not sure why you let him hit you. You just gonna walk back away, and it's like your daughter would have punched him back. What do you mean? What is going on here? It was confusing.
That's true. you are out advocating for your daughter to punch somebody. You yourself getting punched in the eye, and you don't want to fight. You know what I mean? You're absolutely right. Do you know what I was thinking? As you were speaking in my head, I was running a scene in my head. I was like, you know what? They have an argument or whatever. Yes, he cusses him, blah, blah, blah. He gets a cheap shot, punches Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan gets up, about to deck him. And then one of the boys of Damien comes with a gun in his face. Try me, son. Do you know what I mean? I need something. I need something to make it like it's problematic right now. Your boy is not your boy right now. You know what I mean? I need some motivation to get you in the mood. Like, do you know what I mean? The gun should have been pulled out like, bruh. Do you know what I mean? What is it? You know? And then maybe like Damon going like, lowering the gun down. Like, bro, no, we don't need to do that. I'll see you in the ring. Then give me something. Give me something. You know what I mean? Ari, what are you saying?
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
For director.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, everything was just all weird all the way around, and it really is chalked up to him being first time being director and all that. So I mean, I get it. I mean, there are some things that are just not. I mean, you can't get around from not having issues on. So and hopefully this is just the start of him getting better. So I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments.
You don't want to snitch on my okay. I mean, I saw it earlier, but I didn't want to say anything because I mean, if you caught the live last week, if it comes to doing bids for somebody, I'd be snitching. So I mean, this is a different situation, so I wasn't gonna say anything about that. So I mean,
I don't know. I just think to myself, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it was a good point that you made about the daughter would fight, and it did make sense because he backs the daughter all the way, and to a point where he had an argument with the, you know what, again, it might have been a little bit cheesy, but give me that link that you learned, Michael B. Jordan, that moment that you was and then just you have to remember that's not give me something that you learning. Then it's like, oh, okay, I see why he didn't want to fight him. Then he wanted to fight him there on. Now you want me, you're not giving me enough to make me fill in the gaps. If you want me to fill in the gaps, then you got to give us something to fill it in with. You know what I mean? Yeah, because we're now filling the gap, but it's a bit like I feel like I'm forcing it by going, you know what he learned. So because Amara spoke to him and when the last conversation with Amara and him did not end the way that it's ending here. It ended with him saying, "Oh, girl needs to defend herself," and it ended with him going behind his wife's back to say, "I will teach you how to fight." So where is this now? Suddenly, he's restrained after getting decked in the face. He's not even going to get up and, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Damien is bigger than him. Maybe he was like, I don't need to smoke right now.
I need a ref just in case.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't. That's a good point. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I just I think Elle said, yeah, she said like we need to see what was on the cutting room floor.
The deleted
there
scenes probably
was
are what it needs. Mhm.
yeah. So
I'm sure if they release a DVD version, if they do have maybe like the uncut bits or whatever, we'll probably see. You know, I just think to myself, yeah, I think this could be, yeah, maybe someone could do that's true. They can do an alternate ending. You know what? He makes some money off that, boy. If Damien ends up winning, how it changes the world, that would be you know, he can start a whole trend of that kind of film. You know, that alternate ending on a non-fictional, like a non-like kind of science, because usually it's not scientific films that usually have the alternate ending or a horror film, but maybe you could do like an alternative ending on this kind of film. What would happen to the characters if Damien had won? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, mate. Hey, Michael Jordan, take that on board, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, if the storyline don't work, at least the alternative ending will get us in there. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, but definitely, I definitely would like to see, you know, definitely like to see what was on the uncut part. Because I'm sure there were bits that they cut that would have added some
context.
weight, context to some of the things we're seeing. It's just had a bit of loose strands that needed to be attached a bit better so that it just had a stronger base. Overall, it was like I said, it was a good film, and I'm sure it summed up Creed 1, 2, and 3. It's a good trilogy, you know, of films. You know, is it a film that I'd watch again?
I was just about to do the same thing. I'm like,
because of Jonathan.
Honestly, because of Jonathan.
Because of him. Hands down. I mean,
I want to see Jonathan and Baby Girl. That's it.
That I'm gonna tell you straight. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Because that's literally what I was thinking. I was thinking the only reason I'm gonna watch it again is because I need to see Damien again because his performance was so amazing. But other than that, if you had to give me a choice of Creed 1, 2, or 3 to watch again, it probably would be 2. I don't even say probably. It would be 2. There would be 2, and even now I'm thinking about going to watch it quickly just because like it was Creed 2 was inspirational. I'm just being honest with you. It was, you know, that was a big. I didn't even know how he was going to even win that fight, but how it is, you know what I mean. So yeah, Creed 2 for me, but I don't know if I could watch Creed 3 again. You know, it would be, I couldn't do it. There's very few films I can watch twice. That I watched that twice by mistake. I wouldn't have watched it twice if I had the choice. But there's very few films I can watch twice. So Creed 2 is probably one of those films I could watch again. You know, that and Mummy I could watch again. But yeah. Okay, so one because we're gonna end it soon. One good, one bad, or I should say one thing that you would change, one thing you definitely would change about the film. So one good thing about the film and one thing that you would definitely change about the film.
Okay. One good thing about the film that I would definitely say is I feel like it kind of showed what they mean when they say that villains are not born, they're created, to kind of show how Damien became the way he was and why he became the way he was, the abandonment issues and, you know, things of that nature. Being in the system, you know, a young black man getting that many years for having a gun, that's another conversation entirely. So I like, you know, the villain story, so to speak, you know, of Damien. One thing I would change, if I were to change one thing, I probably would have it where instead of Felix getting beat by Damien possibly seriously injure Felix in the ring or kill him in the ring, similar to what happened with Apollo. And that's what sets off the fight between Damien and Michael B. Jordan's character.
True. Ari.
It's probably going to be the same for both, kind of, in a way. The one thing I did like is that I really loved is that they did try to make at least for me, this is my takeaway, that they try to show that things in your childhood come back up and resurface, and you need to kind of deal with it head on rather than, you know, bury it. But that's also the downfall for me too, is that because they didn't show Damien right away, they didn't show, or at least show him effectively. Because if you were going to at least try to keep him to be introduced in this film, you needed to do it better. So it's kind of like two-part, like both good and the bad. So because it's, at least for me.
No, I definitely hear that. I think one good thing for me about this film is Jonathan Majors, because his performance was a 1. And him alone would make me watch the film again. And then I think the second thing for me that was the thing that could be improved on is just fleshing out the entire plot. Taking time with the plot. I don't care if this film would have waited till next year and did it again, because I was not in a rush to see a Creed. But if we had just kind of fleshed out the entire plot, so we got fullness of character for Damien, so that we could also have him in the same place as Drago. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll see. Maybe he will get a flesh out in part 4. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see. Oh, I keep saying Mayors. It's Majors. That's how I always mess up people's names. But yeah. All right, listen, audience. Thank you so much for joining us for the Creed 3 review. I'm sure we'll be back with another film very soon. I think John Wick 4 is coming out. Listen, I'm on that. Okay, me and John Wick. Okay, listen, he's had me for the first 3. Okay, he got me for the 4th. Okay, so
I need to see 3 actually.
I need to see all of them.
I have the first 3, but I never saw the 3rd one for some stupid reason. Don't ask me why. I have. So I own all 3, and I recently just watched the first one again with somebody. So I need to watch the other 2 before the 4th one comes out. So
listen, John Wick is just full of action. Just full of action. If you love fighting, John Wick is like 2-3 hours of just fighting. Like, you know what? And it's a very simple plot. Man lost his dog.
It is.
Someone took his dog and killed him. Since then, it's gone downhill from then. Do you know what I mean? And now he's fighting the whole entire world. Okay, so it's a very simple plot. It's not very difficult. It's man against the world. You know what I mean? It's gone from regional to national to international to global. So now he's on a fight for a global fight. So it's very simple, and I love it because it's so simple. It's so simple. Now. So when that drops, I don't know if there's any other films that are coming out that are of interest. Any other films that are coming out for you guys that are of interest? It could be on TV, it could be on Netflix, it could be on anything that you guys are seeing.
Praise This is coming out. I'm a Pew baby, so I'm ready to see. The gospel music competition show gives me Fighting Temptation feels on Peacock. So I'm ready for that. That's the new movie with Chloe Bailey, Corinne Hawthorne, Drewski, I believe his name is, the comedian. It's dropping on Peacock next month.
Okay.
Streaming. I'm ready for that one. I'm a Pew baby, so I like a good gospel, competition.
Nothing that.
Some Sister Act 2, I'm all with all that. So I'm ready for that.
I'm a tune in for that. Okay, I'm a tune in for that. Yeah, I like that. Ari, any films that you're looking forward to coming up?
The only one that comes to mind is Devotion, and I have Paramount Plus, but so I can always watch that whenever. But the one that sticks out in my mind right now is Scream, the new one that's coming out. I think it's coming out this Friday, actually.
Scream. Okay.
So that's the only one. No, Fast and Furious. Sorry, I just remember that Fast and Furious.
That comes out in May.
So that's the only other one that I'm looking forward to are those 2. So.
Also, the new Little Mermaid's coming out. Oh, I'm sorry.
When is that coming out?
May.
I thought that already came out.
Nah, May.
Why did I think that already came out?
May.
Hasn't come out yet, has it? Yeah.
And I don't like Disney remakes normally, but I like Halle Bailey, so I will be tuned in. We're going to see how this goes.
I actually like the remake of Mulan, but that was personally me. I mean, which is funny because I hated the Lion King remake because the Lion King was actually my favorite one. My favorite Disney movie ever. And then and it was really to do the singing to me, but this is not about that right now. But I mean,
the animals were tone deaf. I'm like, this is not okay.
It made me highly upset. I was so offended because that's my movie. I will fight you. I will fight people on that movie for real.
You better than me. Mulan made me mad because Mulan to me has one of the best Disney soundtracks, and they took out all the music. I heard no Reflection. I heard no I'll Make a Man Out of You. There was no Mushu. I'm like, this ain't Mulan. This ain't working. It. I watched it once. It was a nice action movie, but it was not Mulan. They should have gave it a different title. Like, this is not Mulan. It's nice, but it's not Mulan. Aladdin was good though, and that's primarily because of Will Smith.
Yes, I did like Aladdin. I did like Aladdin. That was pretty decent. Pretty decent in still. There is Guardian of the Galaxy. I don't know if you guys watched that. I'm a bit of a Marvel head, so that's coming out as well in May as well. So I might tune into that.
I've heard of that one. I heard the new season.
That's on the third one.
Back. I might check that one out because of Jonathan Majors. Once again, like, you know, if he's in it,
listen.
Look, I mean, I love Marvel. It's just, I mean, it took me a while. It took me a while to get into the fourth phase, or what was it?
Phase 4. You're right. Yeah.
It took me a while to get into that one just because, you know, I let out a few tears on
the blip.
Endgame? Endgame. I let out a few tears on that one, and then I was like, I don't know if I could do it because, you know, Tony Stark. I talk about an actor who can just get into a role well. I was like, I cried at the end of that movie a couple times. I was like, so it took me a while to get into phase 4, and then and it was just all around not that great. So I'm not looking forward to not really. And Guardians of the Galaxy, sorry Kojo, but it's the least favorite ones out of all the phases for me.
Love those guys.
And I think it really has to do with Drax, to be honest, because I just do not like him. So I mean, it and I don't know why. It could be that it's just his acting style. It could be that the writing. It could be the direction. I don't know. I just do not like him, and I just can't get into the movie. So the Guardians. So yeah, it's just the Guardians of the Galaxy is just down there for me.
It's a no-go for me.
No, I get it. Trust me. I was supposed to go see Ant-Man when it first came out, and I decided to wait just a little bit because I started seeing the reviews, and I heard that once again, Jonathan Majors was the best part of the movie. They were saying the rest of the movie was mid, and I'm like,
I can believe it.
To be fair, most of the Marvel films recently have been very mid. You know, and the reason being is because they're rushing these things out. I'm a story person, so you can't buy me over with just animation and all that stuff. I want to know that you've told a story, and I feel like cinema has lost the art of storytelling for quite some time now. It's just been about churning films out over and over again, and that's why it becomes boring. Like, you know what I mean? And like, there's not many films I go out and watch because a lot of them are just boring. I go and watch them because maybe I want to spend some time out or just, you know, have a distraction. But reality is, after I watch some of these films, I couldn't watch them again. Because there's no real story, gravity of story. You're not buying me in, you know, to a lot of these things. So, yeah, I can understand. A lot of the Marvel films are lacking in storytelling. Lack of plots, lack of depth, lack of foundation. Yeah. So, I'm with you guys, you know. 65 Humans is first. Oh, yes, I did see that one. The guy that's originally from Star Wars. But he's on Earth for about 65 million whatever years or whatever. It's giving Afterlife with Will Smith and Jaden. It's giving a little bit of that, just a little bit. But I'm hoping it's gonna be good, you know? It gave it a little bit of that feeling, just a little bit of that. Just a little bit. I ain't even mad at it, just a little bit. I ain't mad at it still. It just when I saw it, I said, "Oh, for freak's sake! I think they're giving us a white remake." But no ways. I'm sorry. I just felt like no, because I thought we've already seen that, haven't we? We've kind of seen that with a son, but you changed it to a girl now and a father. It's like, oh, okay. But you know, it's like crashing on a London planet, and it's like, oh, okay, we're back here.
Well, that's one thing about Hollywood. The same stories kind of keep getting retold over and over again. I mean, there's really no new ideas.
Either that, or they're books into movies. So it's like, can you kind of
so you already know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm. So it's just
It's not a problem if it's executed well.
True.
You know, I want good execution.
Very
we want good, all we're asking for is good execution. Take your time, and execute it well. That's all we're asking for.
No,
Yeah,
that's
nothing
true.
wrong
That's
with
why
that.
I hate the Twilight movies because I love the books, but those movies were not a good crossover.
I never actually read the books, so I actually like the films. I
The
never
books
read the
are
books.
fire. The books make the
Yeah.
movie seem like child play.
Really, it does. It does. It does. Because I'm with you, Amber. I love the books, but and that baby,
Yes, the baby looks
that
weird.
baby needs to go.
Which baby?
That baby needs the Renesmee.
The baby looks
In
weird.
fourth, the baby in the Breaking Down Part 2.
Yes, it looked
Oh
weird.
damn! I have to go back and watch it
It
again
was
because it's been time.
it was
since I've
giving
seen
Marvel. It was giving Marvel. I'm like, this is not a Marvel movie. What is going
Please, like,
Oh, the baby had powers.
no, it just looked weird.
Yes.
It looked
Oh.
weird.
The CGI was
That's all.
terribly done.
Yeah, it was
Terribly done.
it just looked weird. That's all.
Like, this ain't no baby. What is going on?
It's something
You could
else.
tell it was no baby. It was like, I mean, it's like those TV shows where they came out with seasons during COVID, and and they had a baby in it. It was clear that it wasn't a baby. It was a fake doll.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like
take the doll over that baby because that baby looks weird. Nah, man.
Oh,
Nah.
okay. Oh.
Oh gracious! All right, well, if something comes out, I mean, I listened to something on Disney crossover. It's a TV show called Crossover.
I heard
on
about that. I
Disney
don't know what it's
Plus.
about.
Similar, it's like a basketball dad is. There's a dad who used to be a Laker player, won a ring, and then he's got twin sons, and they're now playing basketball. So it kind of follows there. But it looks healthy. It looks wholesome.
Okay, giving like Mike vibes.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, exactly. A little bit like that. Giving a little bit like Swagger, kind of maybe less of Swagger. Swagger's got the single mom kind of aspect. They've gone for that angle. They've gone with the father this time, single father this time. But yeah, so that maybe also something to look at as well. So if anything else pops up, I will definitely look into it and see. Because I love a good TV show. I do. Love a good TV show. Films ain't cutting it these days. All right, cool. Well, all right, cool, guys. We gonna see you again soon. We'll be back on in a few minutes' time for the live show open panel. So if you guys are around, we're having a conversation about who is holding the black man and black woman back in 2023. Who is holding us back, people? That's the question we're asking. Oh Lord, indeed. Oh Lord, indeed. Okay. All right. We'll see you again very soon, guys. Much love and appreciation. See you very soon.